Welcome back to La Coins World Washington Quarter Dollar 1979 D coin. Have you ever imagined that a simple quarter sitting in your pocket, coin jar, or old family collection could be worth far more than just 25 cents? Every day, millions of people spend quarters without giving them a second glance. But experienced coin collectors know that some of these ordinary-looking coins hide extraordinary stories. Among the modern Washington quarters, one coin has quietly gained attention from collectors because of its condition rarity, fascinating minting history, and the possibility of valuable mint errors. Today, we're uncovering everything you need to know about the 1979 D Washington quarter. We'll explore its history, design, mintage, grading, valuable errors, and the auction prices that have surprised even seasoned collectors. If you're a coin hunter, collector, or simply someone curious about hidden treasures in everyday change, stay with me until the end, because one small detail could make all the difference. Before you spend another quarter, make sure you know exactly what to look for, because the next valuable coin could already be sitting in your collection. 1979 D Washington Quarter. The 1979 D Washington Quarter was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the busiest United States mint facilities responsible for producing millions of circulating coins every year. At first glance, this coin appears completely ordinary, but its story becomes much more interesting when collectors begin studying its condition, strike quality, and rare mint errors. The small D mint mark, located to the right of the date on the obverse, identifies this quarter as a Denver Mint issue and is one of the first details collectors examine. Like other Washington quarters of the era, the obverse features the familiar portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. Across the top of the coin appears the word Liberty, while the national motto, "In God We Trust," is positioned to the left of Washington's portrait. The date, 1979, is displayed below, and the Denver Mint mark sits just beside it. This classic design had already become one of the most recognized coin designs in American history by the late 1970s. The reverse displays the traditional heraldic eagle with its wings spread wide, holding a bundle of arrows while resting above olive branches. Above the eagle appears the inscription E Pluribus Unum, while United States of America surrounds the upper edge. Along the bottom is the denomination quarter dollar. This reverse remained unchanged for decades and became one of the longest-running coin designs in United States history before being replaced by the State Quarter Series in 1999. The 1979 D Washington Quarter is a clad coin, meaning it contains a pure copper core covered by outer layers of copper and nickel. Unlike quarters minted before 1965, it contains no silver. It weighs approximately 5.67 grams, measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter, and features a reeded edge. Although its metallic value is minimal, collector value depends on condition, rarity, and unusual minting characteristics. The Denver Mint produced more than 489 million Washington quarters in 1979. This large production means the coin is common in circulated grades, and most examples found in pocket change today remain worth only their face value. However, collectors know that mintage alone does not determine value. Preservation plays an enormous role in modern coin collecting. Coins that spent years in circulation often show scratches, worn hair details on Washington, flattened lettering, and reduced luster. These circulated examples are generally worth 25 cents unless they contain an important mint error. The real excitement begins with coins that remained untouched shortly after leaving the mint. Collectors use the Sheldon grading scale to determine a coin's condition. Mint state grades begin at MS60 and continue upward to the nearly perfect MS70. Each increase in grade represents a significant improvement in surface quality, strike, luster, and eye appeal. A small difference between MS65 and MS67 may seem insignificant to beginners, but it can result in a dramatic increase in market value. An attractive MS65 1979 D Washington quarter usually sells for several dollars. Coins certified as MS66 often command noticeably higher prices because fewer examples survive with such clean surfaces. Once the grade reaches MS67, the population becomes much smaller and competition among advanced collectors increases. Premium quality coins at this level have sold for hundreds of dollars, especially when they display exceptional luster and a strong strike. The highest certified examples have attracted even greater attention at major coin auctions. Because so few coins survive in elite condition, collectors seeking registry quality sets are often willing to pay impressive premiums. In some cases, outstanding certified examples have sold for well over $1,000, proving that even a common date quarter can become a valuable collectible when preserved in nearly perfect condition. One of the reasons high-grade examples are difficult to find is that most 1979 D quarters entered circulation immediately after production. They experienced years of everyday use in vending machines, cash registers, parking meters, and countless daily transactions. As a result, pristine examples became much scarcer than their original mintage numbers might suggest. Collectors also pay close attention to strike quality. Some 1979 D quarters display weaker strikes, particularly in Washington's hair above the ear and in the eagle's breast feathers. Coins showing full detail in these areas are generally considered more desirable than weakly struck examples. Now let's discuss the mint errors that make this coin especially exciting. Error coins occur when something unusual happens during the manufacturing process, creating unique pieces that collectors eagerly search for. One of the most popular errors is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin blank is not perfectly centered between the dies during striking. Part of the design is missing while the remaining portion is shifted toward one side. If the date remains visible and the off-center Another desirable error is the broad strike. During normal production, a retaining collar surrounds the coin blank to create its proper shape and reeded edge. If this collar fails, the coin expands outward during striking, resulting in a broader coin with smooth edges instead of reeds. Broad strike errors are visually striking and highly collectible. Double-struck quarters are also sought after. These occur when the coin receives more than one strike from the dies. Depending on how far the coin shifts between strikes, the design may appear overlapped or partially duplicated. Dramatic double strikes often command strong prices because they are easy to identify and visually impressive. Die cracks are another fascinating variety. Over time, the immense pressure used during coin production causes mint dies to develop cracks. These imperfections transfer onto the coins as raised lines. Small die cracks are relatively common, but large and dramatic examples, especially those extending across major design elements, are much more desirable. Collectors should also watch for clip planchet errors. These occur before striking when a coin blank is improperly punched from the metal strip. The finished coin has a distinctive curved section missing from its edge. Genuine clip planchets are always popular because they clearly demonstrate an error that occurred during the earliest stages of coin production. Another rare possibility is a wrong planchet error. In these cases, a Washington quarter design is accidentally struck on a blank intended for another denomination. Such mistakes are extremely uncommon and often become highlight pieces in advanced collections due to their rarity and impressive auction performance. If you own a 1979 D Washington quarter, inspect it carefully under bright lighting. Look for original mint luster, clean surfaces, sharp details, and unusual characteristics that could indicate a mint error. Even small differences in appearance may deserve closer examination with a quality magnifying glass or coin loop. Never clean your coin in an attempt to improve its appearance. Cleaning removes the original mint surface and leaves tiny scratches that greatly reduce collector value. Professional numismatists almost always prefer coins with natural surfaces, even if they have toned slightly over time. If your quarter appears exceptionally well preserved or displays a possible mint error, consider submitting it to a respected third-party grading service. Professional authentication confirms the coin's authenticity, assigns an official grade, and provides protective encapsulation that helps preserve its condition while increasing buyer confidence. The 1979 Washington quarter proves that collector value depends on much more than mintage numbers. While hundreds of millions were produced, only a small percentage survive in outstanding condition, and an even smaller number exhibit genuine mint errors. These factors create opportunities for collectors to discover coins worth many times their face value. If you want the script to sound even more like a professional YouTube documentary with stronger audience retention and suspense throughout, I can write that style as well. Have you ever looked at the loose change in your pocket and wondered if one ordinary-looking quarter could actually be hiding an incredible story? Most people spend a 1987 Washington quarter without giving a second thought. But collectors know that every coin has a history, and sometimes that history can turn an everyday coin into something surprisingly valuable. What if I told you that a quarter worth only 25 cents could attract serious attention from collectors? Not because every single one is rare, but because a few exceptional examples and unusual mint errors have sold for far more than their face value. Today, we're taking a close look at one of the most overlooked modern American coins, the 1987 Washington quarter. By the end of this video, you'll know why this coin was made, how to identify valuable examples, which errors to watch for, and whether the quarter sitting in your collection could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So before you spend another quarter, make sure you watch until the very end, because the next coin you check could completely change the way you look at pocket change. 1987 Washington quarter. The 1987 Washington quarter was struck at the Denver Mint in Colorado during a time when the United States Mint was producing millions of coins to meet everyday circulation needs. At first glance, this quarter looks almost identical to countless others. On the obverse, you'll find a familiar portrait of George Washington designed by John Flanagan. Above Washington's head is the word Liberty, while the national motto, "In God We Trust," appears to the left. The year 1987 is displayed below the portrait, and just to the right of the date, you'll notice a small D mint mark, indicating that the coin was produced at the Denver Mint. Turn the coin over, and you'll see the iconic reverse featuring a bald eagle with its wings spread wide, clutching arrows and resting above olive branches. Around the eagle appears the inscription, United States of America, while E pluribus unum is displayed above the eagle and quarter dollar is written along the bottom edge. This classic reverse design served the Washington quarter for decades before the introduction of the state quarters program in 1999. The 1987 Washington quarter is composed of a copper core sandwiched between outer layers of copper nickel, giving it the familiar silver appearance even though it contains no silver. It weighs approximately 5.67 grams and measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter. Like other modern quarters, it has a reeded edge with 119 reeds around its circumference. One reason collectors pay attention to this date is that relatively few mint sets were purchased in 1987 compared to neighboring years. Many collectors at the time were losing interest in modern circulating coins, meaning that fewer high-grade examples were preserved. Although millions of these quarters entered circulation, finding one in exceptional condition today is much more difficult than many people expect. The Denver Mint produced well over 600 million Washington quarters in 1987, making the coin common in circulated grades. If your coin has been heavily used, with worn details and numerous scratches, it will usually be worth only its face value of 25 cents. However, as the condition improves, the value begins to increase. Collectors use the Sheldon grading scale to evaluate coins. An MS-65 example of the 1987 Washington quarter is generally worth several dollars, while coins graded MS-66 often command significantly higher prices. Once a coin reaches MS-67, the number of surviving examples drops sharply and competition among collectors becomes intense. At the very highest certified grades, auction prices can climb into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on demand and population reports at the time of sale. One of the biggest mistakes made by beginners is cleaning their coins. Many people believe that making a coin shiny will increase its value, but the opposite is usually true. Cleaning leaves tiny scratches and destroys the original mint surface, often reducing the coin's collectible value. Professional collectors almost always prefer an untouched coin with its natural finish. Another important factor is the strength of the strike. Some 1987 D quarters display weakly struck details, particularly in Washington's hair or the eagle's feathers. A sharply struck example with full details is generally more desirable than one with a weak strike, even if both coins have similar amounts of luster. Now let's discuss the exciting part: mint errors. Error coins are created when something unusual happens during the minting process. These mistakes make certain coins unique, and collectors often pay impressive premiums for them. One popular error is the off-center strike. During production, if the coin blank is not properly aligned between the dies, part of the design may be missing. The value depends on how far off-center the strike is and whether the date remains visible. A dramatic off-center 1987 D quarter can sell for hundreds of dollars. Another valuable error is the broad strike. This occurs when the retaining collar fails to hold the coin in place during striking. The resulting coin appears larger than normal with no defined reeded edge. Broad strike errors are uncommon and are highly collectible. Collectors also search for double-struck quarters. These coins receive more than one strike from the dies, creating overlapping images that can be easy to recognize. Strong double strikes are especially desirable because they clearly show multiple impressions. Die cracks are another interesting variety. Over time, minting dies develop cracks due to the enormous pressure used in coin production. These cracks appear as raised lines on the finished coin. While small die cracks are fairly common, large and dramatic examples are much more collectible. Fill die errors occur when grease or debris blocks part of the die, preventing certain details from being fully impressed onto the coin. This can leave missing letters, weak numbers, or incomplete design elements. Depending on how dramatic the error appears, these coins may carry additional value. A clip planchet error happens before the coin is struck. If the metal strip used to make blanks is improperly punched, part of the blank may be missing. The finished quarter will have a distinctive curved section removed from its edge. Genuine clip planchet errors are always popular among collectors. Another fascinating possibility is a wrong planchet strike. In rare cases, a quarter design is accidentally struck on a blank intended for another denomination. These spectacular mint mistakes are extremely scarce and can bring substantial prices whenever they appear at auction. If you're searching through rolls of quarters, examine every 1987 D carefully under good lighting. Look for original mint luster, minimal contact marks, strong details, and any unusual features that might indicate a mint error. A simple magnifying glass or coin loop can help reveal details that are difficult to see with the naked eye. If you believe you've found an exceptional example, consider having it authenticated and graded by a reputable third-party grading service. Professional grading not only confirms authenticity, but also provides an independent assessment of the coin's condition, which can significantly increase buyer confidence if you decide to sell. Storage is also important. Coins should be kept in protective holders, away from humidity and extreme temperatures. Avoid touching the surfaces with your fingers, as natural skin oils can damage the finish over time. Holding the coin only by its edges is considered the safest practice. The 1987 D Washington quarter reminds us that rarity isn't always determined by mintage alone. Sometimes condition, preservation, and unusual minting errors make all the difference. While millions were produced, only a tiny percentage survive in superb condition. An even smaller number display remarkable mint errors that collectors eagerly pursue. So the next time you receive change at a store, don't ignore those ordinary-looking quarters. Take a closer look at the date, find that small D mint mark, and inspect every detail. You might discover a beautifully preserved example or even a rare mint error that transforms an everyday coin into an exciting collectible. The thrill of coin collecting lies in the possibility that extraordinary treasures can hide in the most ordinary places, and the 1987 D Washington quarter is proof that even modern pocket change can hold surprises waiting to be discovered. If you'd like, I can also write similar 1,200-word scripts for other Washington quarters or rare pennies in the same style for your hardest penny channel.